No niin, nyt on tultu tänne Tarifaan, Eleveightin kauppiaspäiville ja kuten arvata saattaa, Wingfoil-kamppeet on ollut hyvin vahvassa roolissa tänä vuonna ja pyysin teitä lähettää vähän kysymyksiä etukäteen kenellepä muullekaan kuin Peter Stiewelle, joka on Eleveightin pääsuunnittelija. Hello Peter,
hey, Harry.
Super nice to be back here with you guys.
Thanks, you're here.
Going through all the toys and we have collected some questions from the Wingfoiling community for you. But before we go there, I'm sure that there's a lot of people there who might not be familiar with you. So let's do a short summary, like how long you've been in the game and kind of why you know your stuff.
Well, I think that's a long history in the water sport, and then since 2000 I'm in the water sport industry, having designed kites, kitesurfing kites since 2001.
Yeah.
And working for major companies. And in 2017, together with Philippe Martin and Robert Bratz, we founded Eleveight. And so we created this brand, with a lot of passion and with a certain vision to be very connected to the water sport. And also we had a lot of great contacts like you who already have been working with us in the past. And so this is very in brief our history. But I mean, I started sailing in 75 when I was a 5-year-old boy, windsurfing 78, making windsurfing sails, boards, etc. So I was always let's say connected to the creation process of products for use for water sports.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, you were involved in the process, so not just that you were designing kites since the beginning of the sport, but you've been also very much involved in the factories on developing ways kites are doing, especially with the factory in Sri Lanka.
Correct, yes. I mean, in 2001 when I started to design and build kites, there was kitesurfing just was very new. It was a very new sport, and also all the construction, how to build the kite, how to build it to make it durable, to find the right materials, then implementing them correctly into a production process. So that was very new in that time, and I actually spent a year working in Sri Lanka in the factory to establish together with these teams processes.
Yeah, so basically I could say that you are one of the persons we can be thankful that in Wingfoiling we have the constructions, that you've been playing your part, fine-tuning it and making sure that the products and the construction and the materials are durable enough for us to have fun in the water.
Yes, I mean, when Wingfoiling came up now, it was of course a lot easier to use actually resources and knowledge that was already available from the construction of kites, etc. So without that, for sure, Wingfoiling wouldn't be there where it's now. The development curve would have been much slower.
Yeah. Exactly. We had a head start comparing to kitesurfing, where you kind of started from zero.
Exactly.
Now you had
Absolutely.
a proper head start. But so on to the questions. First, we have Sakke from Finland. He sent he sent an interesting question.
Okay.
Will there be ways to add more wind range, like possibility to further adjust the wing during a session, like opening flags, wings, like a special features? Like, do you see, like, I know in kite surfing all of these things, or many of these things have been tried, but do you see in Wingfoiling?
I think, wind range, sure, we will, and you can see it from, let's say, 2-year-old designs in this fast development process. When you look at wings today, state-of-the-art wings, they have improved a lot in the wind range. Okay, so by design itself, by creating a design that is in harmony, that doesn't have any issues. It's not deforming too strongly under strong load, etc. So by creating a slick design, we will automatically achieve a broader wind range, a wider wind range. special features, flaps, etc. I don't think that special features will actually, really be implemented, because we are working with flexible materials. We are working with an inflatable structure. So let's say implementing molded parts or opening parts or something, which would probably bring, besides maybe improving one parameter, a lot of negative things as well. So I do strongly believe in a slick and a harmonic design.
So basically, wind range will improve, but by fine-tuning and
evolution and adjusting in a design in an evolutionary manner, and creating simply, being the aspect ratios, being it skin tensions, being it diameters, being it materials. So those things will drive the development process, and then also the as a outcome in the performance, the wind range feature.
That makes sense. And in kitesurfing, there has been over the years many types of trial and errors, which are part of the evolution.
And kitesurfing, windsurfing, also in sail, you see this type exactly, in all sports. When it goes also to the high performance needs to be, in a slick design.
I understand. Okay, so and second, and actually others send a question that is pretty on point. It's the future of materials. Now in wingfoiling, like the materials, we can look on different aspects. First is that the material is under a different kind of stress. Like we have sharp carbon foils that can puncture. And then also what I know you've been talking a lot about, the elongation, that how the wing will remain as it was brand new for a longer period of time. So in this sense, I know that we've done already big leaps in the material, but how do you see this in the future? Like, is there huge improvements or big leaps ahead in wingfoiling specific materials?
Yes and no. Let's say when we look at wings today, some of them are standing here behind us, we already see like quite a big variety of materials. So compared to the wings that were developed and brought to market about 2 or 3 years ago. So I think we are already in a stage where we use quite some high-tech materials, different type of materials, to improve performance, to reduce weight, to reduce water absorption, to increase stiffness of the airframe. And also we have materials that to be more durable in terms of tear resistance in the canopy. So everything, it develops this way. So, and for sure there will be more raw material suppliers coming to market that offer then certain versions with certain benefits. The materials we use today, there's a continuous development also in the raw material, from the raw material side. So yes, we will see new versions, new improvements of certain materials, but it will not be suddenly a complete game changer of what we already use now, and that then maybe comes in 2 years. We are already quite, the evolution is already in a nice step forward.
Yeah, and I think also in this, the history of kitesurfing, that there is already 2 decades of development on the materials that we use on wingfoiling behind. So you guys have been working a lot.
And these are the same type, of supplier relationships. So all the communication channels are in place. The new sport, is acknowledged, and so this is already happening, or has already happened, and continues to happen.
Yeah, and I think like now with the XTC Tex and Alula materials. There will be, especially in the leading edge materials, with the stiffnesses and lightweight, which are already here, but
Yeah.
but in the coming years, maybe they become more popular or more widely used.
And there might be coming different versions also from different raw material suppliers. So this is for sure will happen. Yeah.
Okay, and then Misa, long-time windsurfer in Finland, sent a question about the lifespan of a wing. How many hours they are meant to last? And I remember you years ago saying that the kite has a 100-hour lifespan, and we know you can use it for hundreds of hours, so there's two different ways. Yeah. But as a designer, in your take, what is a lifespan of a wing?
Good question, yeah. So it's, it depends, I think, a bit of the performance approach, the rider has on the gear. When I go to Brazil, and I still see prototypes I left there with guys to just simply evaluate also the aging process. So I look at them every year when I go back, and there are wings in the water since 3-4 years, yeah. which are still in use, and they still function, they still work. Do they still perform well? Probably not. They have probably close to 1,000 hours of use on it.
Yeah.
But I think normal. Difficult for me to say, to be honest.
But you look at it from the designer, because when you design it and you build it, it's a certain way when it goes outside the factory. So if you would need to place a number that after what time period it's not the same wing as you made it, what would be your estimate? Well, obviously rider dependent.
I'm always very critical first of all, when we design products, we design the product that they actually last long, and that they keep their performance as long as possible, as long as the raw materials we use and the workmanship and the all the reinforcement we put in there, and we try to make it as good as it possibly can be done. Okay, so, and we choose only the highest grade of raw materials. We never would sacrifice on something for a couple of cents or dollars or whatever. So, and then also it depends a lot on the use. So if I wing, for example, I'm an older guy and I don't do a lot of jumps and freestyle tricks, so I don't fall a lot. And my wing during the session is mainly dry. Yeah. So when you have another guy who is crashing a lot, the wing is in the water and it's mainly wet, it's the wing, a wet wing, undergoes a lot more wear and tear because of the elongation in the material once it's wet. But so it really depends on the usage.
Yeah, for some riders it's a season, for some riders it could be a few seasons. That I know for sure.
I think, but one good season, with I don't know, 100 hours of use, then the wing will still work as long as you didn't drop over it with your foil.
Do any damages? I know, like from the past in kites, the time, how long can you use a kite that it still performs has increased hugely, and same with wings. We remember the first generation of wings. After first season they were pretty soft. Now after first season they are, obviously depends on the rider, but still in good use. Okay, so then there is Vesku, who actually, you have a history, like you, Vesku was your neighbor at 2005 in Caparete in IKO course. He asked to say hello from the ringtone guy.
Hello, ringtone guy.
And Vesku sent
memories.
Vesku sent a good question that about different types of wings. Like in kiting, like with Eleveight, we were just talking about it. There's 7 different models. So there's for waves, there's for big air, there's for free ride, there's for foiling. But in wingfoiling, we still generally have do-it-all models in somewhat. So how do you see in the future the range of wings? Like, will there be more highly specified wings for each discipline?
Well, yes, I think we will see that, and we can already see this. Most serious wing manufacturers and they offer, you know, 2 models, 3 models. So I think we can see that it will evolve more into an area where we have a typical freeride wing with that covers like 80% of the needs of the market, and then more specialized niche products, be it a wave riding wing or be it a racing wing. Also, because the design parameters are slightly different. But also, maybe we don't see such a big, let's say, product range in wings that we see in kites, because a lot is also depending on what's under the water. Which, you know, then for the overall performance and the type of style you go into, you know, it depends on these different parameters. I think we definitely see that, and we can see this already now.
So basically, you see that in wingfoiling, the wings will remain more of a crossover, that with one wing model, you have the ability to do more disciplines better than where in kite surfing we know wave-specific kite is far better.
Needed. I mean,
it is needed, exactly.
For example, you know, when you have a big air kite, you don't want to take it to go wave riding, or it's just simply, you know, not the kite that performs in this parameter, or vice versa. But for you could take a wave specific wing, and you can do freestyle with it, or vice versa. So it's a little bit less need for this specification. There is a specification, but I think will be less compared to kite
okay. Yeah, and I think that's good news for the riders as well, because buying expensive gear, you know that which way around the sport will take you, the chances are higher that you can cope with the wing. And I absolutely agree that what is underneath the water, as in the foil, can play a huge factor there. On that same kind of follow-up question from Vesco is that now we start to see this double canopy wings, which maybe also fall into Sakke's question, that they are a very different way of looking. So what's your take on the double canopy wings?
I think it's interesting, and we can see there's an evolutionary process and different things being tried out. We could see that in kitesurfing as well over the years, and I have not tried to use one myself, but I could imagine some benefits in the racing department there, but also as everything. Every feature, everything also comes with a pro and with a con. So you need to evaluate: is this good for one specific area, and there it has an advantage, but in a lot of other areas it has a disadvantage. So this everybody and every company needs to evaluate for themselves and see what they then actually do.
Yeah, and I can imagine or already see that the race scene in wingfoiling will most likely pick up quite fast over the years, and there for sure will be super specialized racing gear for the major league.
I believe a lot it has to do with under the water.
That is true. Yeah, that is true. So, and then actually last question, and this is by me. Like in your wild imagination, like now we have a new sport that we know that has boomed, and everything has improved, and the things we can do now, for example, wind range. We couldn't imagine a few years ago that you can have fun in 6 knots or 7 knots as an average rider, that you can go. But now it's reality. So in 5 years of time, in your wildest imagination, what do you think we could do?
Have more fun.
For sure.
So, and I think this is where it's all about, to maximize the time on the water, to have as much fun as possible. Our life is around toys, and our job, or my job, is to build them as good as possible to maximize the amount of fun. So everything will push in this direction. We will see more wind range into the top end and to the bottom end, and we will see more easy, more harmonized product, higher level performing products, also easier entry level products. So it will grow and expand and improve each parameter that is needed. Will it happen through, let's say, a game-changing feature? I don't think so. It will change by evolutionary design, by improvement on existing designs in small and slow steps.
Yeah. And I think actually that is exactly the way I see the sport, is that we can have more fun, and not in a way that I know I will have more fun, but more people are accessible to the sport.
Yeah.
With the development of the gear, you can do it. Like Finland is a great example that we have many lakes that are usually the launch spots are difficult, or the winds are generally light, and now you were lucky you had few sessions a year. Now you can have a couple of sessions a week without being like a superstar waterman, but us normal people can actually have fun in much more different conditions and different locations. And I think that will be the future for wingfoiling, that many more people will come to wind sports because it's so accessible.
Absolutely, and that's how I actually myself, I also do it like this. Now I take a kite when it's great conditions to kite surf, and I take a wing when it's when the conditions are better for wingfoiling. So it maximizes your water time, and that's a fantastic addition to our group of sports we do. And we will push this even more, so that allows us to go out in more marginal conditions and improve on all parameters.
Yeah.
So this is what we will see in the next years.
Perfect, and that's a good way to wrap it up, because that's why I've been happy to work with you guys for 7 full seasons, going to the 8th season with Eleveight now.
8th season with Eleveight.
Oh man, it's been a wild ride, but I'm so happy I've been able to be it from the first days. Thank you, Peter.
Thanks, Harry.
And thank you for inviting us to Tarifa.
Welcome, and thanks for coming.
Cool. All right. Tässä oli Petri haastattelu. Toivottavasti siinä oli vähän vastauksia sinne kysyjille ja muillekin Wingfoilista kiinnostuneille. Niin mukava, kun jaksatte katsoa videoja. www.lappis.fi löytyy sitten näistä wingikamppeista ja itse lajistakin aika paljon tietoa. Niin ei muuta kuin nähdään rannalla. Morjens!
Ciao! Morjens!